Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, my name is Chris, and I make videos about coffee. First, I just want to say a huge thank you to James Hoffman and his team for supporting me as a creator and featuring my video alongside the creator playlist. Many of us are currently stuck at home, yearning for the chance to freely travel again. Whenever I travel, I always made a point to try out local cuisines, and that includes coffee. So today, I'm here to introduce you guys to a traditional Indonesian coffee that's called Kopi Joss, and that's something that you can make at home. And yes, it requires fire. So this is Kopi Joss. It's a traditional Indonesian coffee that comes from the region of Yogyakarta, originating around the 1960s. The name comes from the onomatopoeic sound of the burning charcoal dropped into the glass. It's believed that the addition of the burning charcoal neutralizes acidity, adds a distinct caramelization-like flavor, and even has purported health benefits. It's also believed that the first person to create this drink was a coffee stall owner named Mr. Man, at least according to the legend. The drink grew in popularity after praise came from some of the medically dubious claims of the beverage's health benefits. And while I didn't get a chance to recently travel to Yogyakarta, I did manage to find an angkringan, or a food stall, in the island of Batam, Indonesia. So meet Celestio, who does originally come from Yogyakarta and brought a piece of that culture here with him. I asked him a couple questions about the fiery drink, got a chance to see how it's made from a native to the region, and I'm going to show you how to make it at home.
Kalau arak gunanya apa?
Arak ini sebenarnya gunanya untuk masuk angin itu. Untuk masuk angin, jadi kalau dia banyak angin, dia jadi kotoran keluar semua.
Biasanya dari mana?
Kita pakai arak bako. Tapi yang dipakai yang bara, sudah jadi bara.
Traditionally, this drink is also served later in the day towards the evening. Celestio's stall here in Batam only opens from 5 p.m. onwards. Okay, so looking at how this drink is put together, it looks like it's just 4 simple ingredients: the coffee, the sugar, the hot water, and of course, the burning piece of charcoal. So let's break down this drink. So in Indonesia, the go-to style of street coffee is called Kopi Tubruk, where they typically add a tablespoon of this stuff along with half a cup of hot water, and this pre-ground mass-produced coffee is served at many street vendors and can be purchased for about 70 cents. It also looks like there's a heaping tablespoon's worth of coarse sugar, as well as enough hot water to fill the cup. And finally, the charcoal. The same charcoal that's used to heat up the hot water is traditionally used to also drop it into the glass, sizzling aggressively before quickly dying out. Here were some of my initial reactions to trying this drink for the very first time. It's very grainy. Definitely it's sweet too. I think they also put sugar in it before. It's got the roasty flavor from the charcoal. Okay, so now that I've shown you how this drink is made traditionally, let's move on to making this at home. Now, a word of caution here, as you should always be careful with fire. Also keep in mind the type of charcoal you use. I'll leave a link to the one that I'm using in the description down below. It's a Japanese branded activated charcoal that's made from wood. Okay, so first and foremost, obviously getting something like this is not going to be an option for many of you at home. So in place of Kopi Tubruk, we're going to try to make our own. To get to the closest chocolatey and nutty flavor of Kopi Tubruk, I'm going to be using this bag of beans from Atomic Coffee Roasters, which is a single origin bean from the region of Takengon, Sumatra, Indonesia. It has tasting notes of cedar, dark chocolate, and earthy. Kopi Tubruk also directly translates to powder coffee. So to really grind these beans down into a powder, I'm going to be using a spice grinder and sift it through a fine mesh sieve to get out any of the larger chunks. Next, we gotta pick out our serving vessel of choice, and you want to be careful here because, again, we're dropping a piece of burning charcoal into it. I'm going to be using my very thick-walled, not neutral glasses, which I personally like to use to drink coffee out of. Okay, so with all the ingredients here around me, let's build a drink. First, I'm going to be adding 15 grams of our coffee powder. Then I'm going to be adding 15 grams of sugar. Then I'm going to be adding about 100 to 150 mils of boiling water, or enough to fill the glass most of the way up. And finally, the burning charcoal. Again, be extremely careful here. The charcoal I used came in this stick form, which I then broke down into small chunks. I'm also going to be using a pair of metal tongs, and I'm going to use a kitchen blowtorch to heat it up until it's glowing red hot and drop it into the glass. Okay, so that burning piece of charcoal took roughly a minute or so to get it to a kind of glowing red hot state, and as you could hear, we had that nice hissing sound that we're trying to go for that gives this drink its characteristic name. So after letting that little piece of charcoal sit in for about 30 seconds to a minute, I'm going to fish it out with a little spoon, and let's give this drink a taste. Now, with the way this coffee is prepared, typically you'd want to let this sit for another minute or so just to let it cool down a little bit, and to also let a lot of the coffee grounds settle on the bottom. Obviously, you don't really want to be drinking the coffee grounds itself, so just make sure you sip it lightly from the top. Now, I'm going to be honest, and when I was first putting the idea for this video together, I thought there was no way I could get something that's kind of close to the taste of Kopi Tubruk. But these beans I'm using from Atomic Coffee Roasters really do help bring out sort of that dark chocolate and earthy notes that I found in the original tasting of Kopi Tubruk. So while not a type of coffee drink that I would personally prepare for myself every morning or evening, creating drinks like this at home is sort of a fun way to relive some of the travels that you had previously experienced, especially now while we're still all waiting to continue to freely and safely travel again. So with that being said, I encourage you to think outside the box, see how you can attempt to recreate unconventional and uniquely cultural ways of brewing coffee for yourself at home. And maybe it'll remind you of a past travel experience that you've had. So anyways, that's it for this video. Again, thank you so much for watching, and to James and his team for choosing to support my channel. If you enjoyed this type of content, be sure to check out the rest of my coffee-centric videos, and subscribe if you're into that kind of thing. Also be sure to follow me on Instagram where I post daily, collect some Q&A questions for my Wednesday workflow videos, and do the occasional giveaway. And finally, if you want to help support the channel, I also have a Patreon page that I'll leave linked in the description down below. That's it for this one. I'll see you in the next one.